face the camera when you do this? Because you're facing me right now.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys?
Y2K?
Man, we're old. Remember that when people were on the buildings?
Freaking out. Hey y'all, before we jump into today's video, I have a few housekeeping points that I want to touch base on with you guys.
Hey, but wait. First, coffee.
Indeed.
Here you are, my dear.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
All right, have a seat, honey. The first thing that we want to talk about is 50,000 subscribers.
50?
Are you kidding me?
What?
Are you kidding me right now?
What is that?
What
is that? That's awesome. That's what that is. That's awesome.
I think Chris and I are in a little bit of shock still and disbelief.
Oh, just stop.
We really thought that this would take us years to get to. We're gonna keep trying hard and keep trying to get better. So, all right, so the second thing is I wanna say congrats to Alan Marion again on winning our first giveaway. He won the El Rey Backrest by CMC Motorsports. I'm gonna pop in a photo here. We hope that you like it just as much as I love mine. Next thing, I want to give another shout out and props to CMC Motorsports for not only allowing us to be able to to do our first giveaway, but this is what a stand-up company they are. They actually called Alan and congratulated him personally and asked if, they wanted to see if he wanted any specific stitching. And as soon as we had his name and address, they got it all ready and shipped it out to him immediately. Great company. We're really thankful. Guys, check them out. We'll put a link to their website. El Rey all day, baby.
You have a list, apparently.
I do. Otherwise, I'll forget. Chris and I talked, and we decided that one of the things we want to do on our channel is not start a project or tell you that we're going to start a project and then not follow through, or at least not tell you what happened.
We are not about that here. Ooh.
So we discussed doing a brake bleed video for you guys, and as many ABS brake bleed, yes. As many of you may or may not know, in order to do that, one of the tools is very expensive, and we're talking like $2,000 to $3,000. We think that the average viewer out there probably doesn't have that lying around to buy a tool that you don't really need to perform this all that often on your bike, right? Right. So to dish out that kind of money is just not very feasible. We found an individual who built a software where he sends us his product and it plugs into our data port and we can do it that way. Much more affordable. However, we've gotten it, so we're not giving up it. We haven't forgotten about it. It's just not quite there yet, so we're gonna have to put it on hold until we can work out the kinks, and we hope it does work out.
I also wanted to say we're putting a pin in currently to the dyno content for the reasons that the paint and powder-coated parts are out at Paint and Powder.
We're waiting on a flywheel and a few other things too.
On the way, which actually may or may not may be here today. That will be being generated in the background, but we have other content to do as well. So currently,
so the dyno content is just on hold for now, but it's not going away. We're just waiting on parts. And today's content is a stage 2. If you guys stay tuned to the end of this video, we're going to announce our next giveaway, and I'm really excited about it.
What is it? What is it?
We gotta wait.
What are we doing today?
How to stage 2 Y2K?
Man, we're old. Remember that when people were on the buildings?
Freaking out.
I remember that.
Take
like
me
it
first.
was yesterday, guys. And since the camera can't see me, this sucks, so I have to do it this way, but I'm really talking to her. This is a stage 2 how to and why.
What exactly is a stage 2, Mr. Master Level Mechanic?
Well, stage 2, there's variations of a stage 2. You can have a stage 1 and then complete the stage 2 off of your stage 1. A stage 2, traditionally, the way Harley Davidson created these stages, by the way, guys, because any of us that are older than 25, 30 years old, we didn't know what a stage anything was prior to twin cam era. A stage 2 by Harley Davidson definition is intake, exhaust, cam, and ignition. That's a stage 2. Sometimes paired with fuel That could be a stage 2 in addition to. You can add it with a bigger manifold. You can throw a bigger throttle body on it. You can already have exhaust and you decide you just want to put a cam in it. You could put a really big cam that requires valve springs. So the stage 2 variation gets very large. But we're going to do what's considered a drop-in stage 2. This is a 107 M8. This is a first gen 107 M8. This is a 2018 model. We're going to be putting a Star 3030 cam in it. We will be doing S&S lifters. We will be doing S&S adjustable push rods. We will be doing a Thundermax ignition. We have a Fuel Moto jackpot header. He's going to keep his Screaming Eagle slip-ons because he didn't want to have to buy any more, and there's no need for them really. And we're going to do an Arlen Ness Big Sucker stage 1 high flow air cleaner.
So what do you do first?
Step 1 is remove the saddlebag.
Oh.
I would say just remove both. You come into your saddlebag and you remove these clips. You unscrew them. If you have an older style saddlebag with Zeus clips, you would remove your Zeus clips. So remove your saddlebags.
Okay, so now we have to take the cover off, huh?
Now
Side
we're
cover?
going to remove the cover.
All right. What do you do? Just pull it?
We do.
Okay.
So just remove this. They are attached in there by rubber grommets.
Okay.
Place that off to the side. Grab your maxi fuse.
What's max fuse?
That thing.
Oh.
It's a fuse. It's just a really large one. This is the main fuse. This goes straight to your battery. When this is disconnected, allegedly, all the battery power is disconnected from the motorcycle.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's what Harley says, but there is power in places, so it doesn't completely kill the motorcycle. So I used allegedly.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you screw an ostrich? Allegedly?
Allegedly?
It's a Letterkenny reference.
Is it? I don't know that one. Someone
Well, I guess to be fair, if you haven't seen that show, you wouldn't know that reference.
No, I do not.
Chris is not cool enough to know that reference.
I am not cool at all. So for this stage 2, we're removing the header and we're replacing it. If you already have an exhaust system or stage 1 on yours, you may not need to remove your O2 sensor. So you may not need to follow this process. But for sake of what we're doing on this bike, we're removing the stock header system and we're going to replace it with this jackpot header.
Okay.
So in order,
what is the difference between the stock and this jackpot header?
So the stock header, which is right there, I'll have to take it off, but the stock header right here, it has a catalyst, which is similar to a catalytic converter in a vehicle. This does not have that. This is restricted on the flow. It also restricts a little bit of sound. When we put this header on, it's going to flow a lot better. It's also going to sound better. So these Screaming Eagle mufflers are probably going to sound fairly good compared to what they sound like now. We are removing the mufflers. 9/16 socket. If we observe where we're at, next logical step would be to get the footboard out of the way. Now we're going to disconnect our O2 sensor connectors. Just disconnecting the O2 sensor and pulling the wire out of the way so that they can remove the exhaust system and the sensor and wiring. And so for moments like these, since we're going to retain these heat shields, you are free to do whatever it is you want. You can take these off completely right now, leave them on as an assembly and set the whole thing as a side and then transfer them over after you install your other heat shield. Whatever works best for you. That's my favorite. See how rusty that is? I know you heard that. We'll most likely have to replace that exhaust stud because that one's frozen. It's good that it happened on camera. And when we bill them and we're like, hey, this is what happened, and they're like, oh, yep, not making it up. Come on out of there. There we go. Yeah. See, that's bummer. See the threads, guys? That's no good. How do you fix that, might you ask? Good question. Well, we're gonna get in there and find out. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run a tap through that hole and see how much of this we can get back. If I can get it back and install a new one and it didn't rip all the threads out coming out, then we did okay. If the threads are garbage, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll call the customer and find out. But I can tell you that that nut is crooked. I'm sure you can see that on camera, but that there is a true cross-threaded nut. And usually when you cross-thread something that tight and it rusts in place, it's never coming off, and this is what happened. Now that you guys got to see that on camera, I didn't expect that to happen. This is just part of what happens when you work on your motorcycle. If things weren't done right the first time, or just remove something and like this happens. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. I need to try to repair this hole, make sure that everything is fine, and if not, then I got to call the customer and we got to go from there. I have some other things going on outside of here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in this. Let's see you on the flip. So, transition time. This is my favorite time. You guys are like, whoa, you showed up, you got a new shirt, new hat, probably. It's a whole new day, guys. So this here is a mistake. Remember, folks, there's no mistakes. Only happy little accidents. What? Okay, Bob. There are definitely mistakes. And this is one of them. It ain't good. Shh. Get out of here, Bob. Now we get to begin on the real work. The real work being, we fixed this. If we recall, we know this is no good. And we got to hear Bob tell us how there's no mistakes. This ain't painting, Bob. Now that we've got the exhaust off, before we go any further, let's head on over to the other side and take the spark plugs out. Let's set you up right here, because this is my favorite position for you guys when I'm on this side. I even have it marked on the table so it never changes. All of these steps that I'm doing, you can do in any order you want. So don't think that this is like a specified way of doing it. These are just the steps that need to happen before everything happens. So if you decide to take the spark plugs out first, and then take the saddlebags off, and then take the maxifuse out, if you choose to forego taking the maxifuse out, like I know a lot of people do around the world, including myself sometimes, most of the time, and something happens like the starter goes off and spins around and your finger gets caught in something and you lose a finger, it's not my fault. Just that simple. This is your disclaimer. If you're not worried about that kind of situation, then feel free to leave it in. I'd also like to take this moment out to say that we have some merch, guys. If you hit the store link on our YouTube homepage, that'll take you to some shirts and some stickers. Currently, we've got stickers, shirts, and I think we have some mugs. We will be coming out with much more merch as time goes on, but this is our first step. If you like our logo or you care to help support us in any way, pick up a shirt, grab a sticker. If not, just hit that like button. That helps too. So now that we've got the spark plugs out, we're gonna come back around to this side of the motorcycle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys rigged up here. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Or you could do that, but this is the option we're going to go with. Behind your backing plate, you're going to have this bracket. This bracket is bolted to the throttle body itself. Depending on the air cleaner assembly you have that you will be installing, you may or may not need to remove this bracket. You will need to reference your air cleaner assembly to know whether you're going to need to remove this bracket or not remove this bracket. For now, we're going to leave this on and we're going to continue moving on, and we're going to remove the cam cover. For those of you following along at home and wanting to do this, I recommend you grab yourself a pan. This happens to be a baking sheet. I don't really know what size this is, 8 by 8, I believe. I'm going to place that right there underneath the cam cover. Now I'm going to bring the camera back in, but that's going to stay there and collect all the oil. Now that we've got the cover off, the next step is to remove the pushrod tubes. We're going to take the top pushrod tube covers off so that we can cut these pushrod tubes out of here. I'm going to use some pistol grip pliers. If you look at the end of these are pretty nice. They're like alligator mouth. Anyhow, I'm going to come in here with a screwdriver and gently push down on the spring. I'm going to grab the clip, remove the clip, and let the spring go. If you heard that, there's a spring under here. That goes flying. I'm going to do the same for the rear. You can just pull these off, guys. You can literally just yank them off, but I don't recommend that. Just do it the right way. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have a cam in here already. Remember, that gasket was reused, and now we have adjustable push rods. So there's evidence, evidentiarily, is that even a word? And for sake of time, so I'm not going to talk anymore through this so that we don't hear it during speed up time. But know that that's what's happening. We're going to take these loose. We're going to collapse these, all 4 of them. We're going to get them out of here. Once we get them out, it's our cam chain tensioner. We're going to loosen this screw. We're going to back this screw out. We are not going to completely remove it, just going to loosen it. Then we're going to remove this screw, completely take that out. This will spin down. We'll just let it hang down here. This won't fall out. It's attached, so we don't have to worry about marking the direction of rotation. We're then going to take this and this out. We're going to remove these, set them to the side. By that point, if I haven't come back and talked, we will then remove the plate, and we're going to separate the plate from the pump. We want to look at that plate or that pump. We want to know what's going on in there. I have found the easiest way to break these loose, guys, is to find where they're together, closest together, and then you can grab them with one hand, and all you really got to do is close that hand, and it just breaks them loose. It's very, very easy. It doesn't take a lot of strength to have to do that. So if that helps you, which I hope it does, good. Let's stop for 1 second here, guys, and talk about this. We took the push rods out, and we want to set them in the place that we took them out. Let's not forget that I am aware that we are replacing these push rods. We are replacing the lifters, and we are replacing the cam. But if you have good habits, they'll always exist. Even if you're going to take it off and throw it in the trash, you're still going to take it off in the same manner. You're going to keep it in the same direction. And then if you happen to throw them away, you throw them away. It is what it is. Or you box them up and you give them to the customer and they take them home. Is what it is. But if you have bad habits and you just lay your stuff around haphazardly, that's going to carry through into other things. Keep track of your stuff always. I know in another video I went over using cardboard and how cardboard is a good way to keep track of where your bolts go. Not only does it keep where your bolts go, it also keeps you from losing potential bolts or having one roll off a lift and you can't find it. So that's another advantage to that. We are once again here at a place of we can take these off and the lifters out, or we can take all this off and this out and then let those fall through the bottom. We have a couple options. Since we're going to retain the plastic lifter guides that are in here, which we will be doing in this case, if you're doing this at home down and dirty, there's no need to take this off. You can leave this on and let these lifters fall out of the bottom. You cannot do that on a twin cam. You cannot do that on an Evo, but you can get away with that here. Since I'm going to leave the lifters in place for now, 9 Finger Fab sells these really nifty lifter holders. They have magnets on the end here. Show you how they work. Okay, so now I'm attached to each lifter. And this is pulling it up. So these are the magnets on the end. They attach to the lifter. And this here, love how I'm doing this one-handed. This here threads out for now so that we can get these all the way down in the hole. So we're going to take that all the way back. Now we can get these down in the hole. Did you hear that? Click, click. That's on each lifter. So now that I have each lifter magnetized, I'm going to extend this out a little bit, which is going to pull these lifters up in the hole. So the lifters are going to slide up in the hole, and then they're going to stay up out of the way so that now I can pull the cam out. If you do not have those, I got another option for you guys. If you don't happen to have these, that's okay, fear not. I think these are pretty nice. I might suggest you buy some. That's my own opinion because I like them, and I want to support somebody that I like. But you can also make these. These are from Binder Clips. I've removed them, and if you can see the ends of these, I don't know how well this looks on camera. If you can see the ends of these, they've been sharpened, and that's all I did was run them over a grinder. And then now I can stick them in, and they clip onto each lifter, just like that. Now we're clipped to each lifter, and it's held up in its hole. And the reason it clips is because you have to press this in, and it has spring pressure going back out. So you can make those yourself at home if you need to. So let's use one of each. just to make it amusing. So now that we have our lifters held out of the way, let's get the tension off of our cam chain. This is a T27. Just loosen that bottom one, remove the top one, let this kind of dangle. Set that screw off, put that screw with the outer cover screws or with the pump plate screws, wherever you choose to keep them is totally fine with me. Just so long as you keep them and keep track of them. Now I'm going to do this, we've done this in other videos. I'm not going to use the removal tool. Here is the removal tool. If I need to use it, I will use it. And I will for sure link this in the description below, as well as these. I will not link these because I made those. If for any reason you can't remove that using an impact or pneumatic, you will need to use the tool and then manually reverse. Now that we've gotten those off, so now what I like to do is pull this off and set it aside as a pair or as an assembly or whatever you want to call it. I like to leave it all together like that. Not only does it keep the direction on the chain going in the same direction, it just kind of keeps it all together, makes it easier. Now we're going to remove the oil pump. You can leave this as an assembly and pull everything out as one piece, but I want to put eyes on this oil pump. And I recommend that you do the same on yours, unless you know your bike is brand new and everything is fine. If your bike has some mileage on it or it's unknown to you, I recommend you do this. What cam do we find, ladies and germs? Oh, wow. What do you know? It's a stock cam. Interesting. I'll show you something here too, guys. This is what one of the things we want to look at. First off, we want to glance at all of the lobes. Let me turn you over here a little bit. I know I got a soda and a little bit of a mess going on over here. I apologize, guys. We're not fully prepared for you to look at my table. But anyways, this cam doesn't look bad at all. So I want you to see what we're looking for. So typically, what we're looking for is here. See this cloudy area across the top here? This is where the cam bearing rides. You can actually see it real well right here. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look like anything was going on there. This is where the lifter wheels roll on the cam. Nothing horrible. Nothing horrible at all. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything looks just fine. So, since that all looks well and fine, let's get the oil pump out of here. Let's take a look at the old pump itself. I have a feeling this pump is going to be stock. I'm realizing that though someone has been in here, I don't know why they were in here, because they didn't put a cam in it. Weird. Now these G-rotors look really good. Again, we're looking for the same thing. This is a really good wear. Like there's no wear. I mean, there's nothing. These look beautiful. There's a little bit of evidence in here. I don't know how much of that translates on camera. Looks like something metal went through this pump at some point. You can actually see where it touched the gears. Now, does that mean it's trash? No, doesn't mean it's trash, but we may want to replace it. Now, this is a standard pump cover is what they call that, a cover. This is the updated oil pump cover. I'm sure we can all see the difference. So we have a seal now, which this helps with carryover into the camshaft. So anyhow, let's check the runout on this crank. And for those of you that don't know how to do this or haven't seen this done, it's actually really easy. It just requires a tool. When you have the tool, everything's easy, right? I'll put a link for this as well in the bottom. I do recommend that you check this. If you are here, this here, guys, is like an important service bulletin. If you've gotten this far and you've emptied your camshaft, check your runout. Just check it. Buy the tool. Have someone borrow the tool, whatever. Have someone that has the tool come over and do it for you. Get it checked. Why be here and not check it and your flywheel is no good? Wouldn't you rather know now? I for sure would. So back to what we were doing. So we're going to take this nifty tool that Fueling makes. The Fueling part number for this tool, guys, is 9014. Again, I will put the link in the description down in the bottom. While you're down there looking at that link in the description, do me a favor, hit the like button. I've loved you guys a long time. By doing that, guys, I just want you to know I don't want to be pushy. And I don't want to be one of those guys that's thought of as like, man, that guy's just telling me to like, comment, subscribe, whatever, whatever. I say that because it really, truly helps. And I'm learning how it helps all the time. But it helps us. It helps the channel. It helps our exposure. So a lot of you guys seem to enjoy the how-tos and the contents and the tricks and the tips and all that good stuff. Well, if you like it, I bet someone else is going to like it too. So if you hit that like button, it spreads it. It helps to like expose us to other people. And I want to say an absolute huge thank you to every one of you that is watching this right now. Because of you guys, we are growing and growing, and I am absolutely blown away. I am pleasantly surprised and amazed. Thank you. And that thank you comes from like my soul, comes from the depth of me. I mean that, guys. Thank you. Really do. All right, so we're gonna zero this tool now that we're getting back to seriousness here. We're gonna zero this tool. Now a lot of you are gonna be like, well, how are you gonna turn that? We have a tool here. We have a socket made. I actually did this one by hand on my own. Eventually, I'll get these made. So sorry, there's no link in the description. You can make one yourself, or at some point, I might make them. So now what we're going to do is turn the crank. And because we took the spark plugs out earlier, the crank turns real easy. Look at that. And so what do we see, guys? What's the farthest point down right there? And what are we? Let's get in here. We're 2. I don't know where I got 4. We're 2. And then this way, we're 1. 1. And not fully 2. Almost 2. That's it right there. It's like 1 3/4. But if we say 2, let's just round off to 2, because that's really close. So we're at 3 thousandths. That's 3 total, guys. That's great. Straight crank. Looks awesome. That's rare, I'll be honest. So now that we've done that, it doesn't take much. We got 3, we all see it. I don't have to write it down for the customer because he can see it. He gets to watch this too, just like you guys. Now that we know that his crank is good, not only is the runout good, this has no wear on it. Everything looks good. Flywheel looks great. We're gonna replace this bearing. We're gonna replace these lifters. Okay, now we're gonna drop the lifters. I told you that was something we could do from here if you're leaving your stock Viton guides in there. These all look really good. I mean, that one, I say all. That one looks really good, and that one looks good. So they all looked pretty good before we put the new lifters in. Let's replace that cam bearing. And to do that, I will be using a Jim's tool. I will put the link in the description below. And for a lot of you guys that are wondering, I will also put the Amazon tool link in the description below. Why am I going to put an Amazon tool in the link description below, you might ask? Because for those of you that are only going to be a one-time use kind of guy, or, you know, you're going to do it, like I said, you're going to do it once at home in your garage. You don't necessarily need to buy the tool that is made for everyday use that I would put it through. You could buy a tool it'll do the job. And maybe it'll only do it once. But who cares? Because you're only going to do it once. So if you're that kind of guy, those descriptions are in the bottom for that reason. In order to do this, there's a collet. This collet you're going to push right through. Let's see if you hear it. We push that right into the bearing. And then you're going to install this driver, or the drift, I mean. Install that drift right through. You're then going to get your washer and your nut. It's really just this easy, I promise, guys. I only put 2 screws in for a reason, because I'm lazy. I'm going to go through the removal hole. This plate is marked remover and installer. You don't have to screw this on. Hell, you don't even really have to do that. I only do that because I don't want to have to hold it with one hand. Now we're going to install this nut. Now you're just going to tighten the nut. You can do what I'm doing, and you can move the big nut, or you can move the small. Doesn't really matter, guys. Whatever works. Once it comes out, it's going to hang here. I'll show you what we just did. In order to get this out, you have to take the nut all the way back off. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. You take the drift out, take the nut and the washer off, throw them back in the box. support the plate, take the screws out. There's your bearing. Slide your bearing off, done deal. Throw that in the garbage. Now let me show you something. Because I know at least one of you is like, hey, what is the difference? Why are we changing these bearings? Here's a visual difference. I think I've done this on a few videos, but since we're here in this moment, let's just do it again. So here's the stock bearing. It's made by INA, and it has a plastic cage in it. Not sure how much of this you guys can see versus this one. If you notice, there are a lot more rollers in this one than in this one. This bearing does not have a cage. This one has a cage in it. This is a Koyo bearing, a B168, and this is an INA cheap bearing. I don't even know the part number. Don't care. It's cheap. Throw them away. I like this better. So I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do this, guys. You're gonna put this in. What I mean by right or wrong way is there's definitely a wrong way, promise. But we're gonna put this on. What I mean by right or wrong way is, do you lubricate your bearing beforehand or afterhand? Meaning before install or after install. I personally like to do it now before install. So now that we've got our engine assembly lubricant, we're gonna saturate that bearing. And this stuff is tacky, by the way, guys. It's tacky, like a khaki. So it sticks, if you can see the stiction. It's got like snot. We're gonna just smear that around the outside. We're gonna install our plate. So this is where you need to install the plate tight, right here. Because now you're gonna have outward pressure against the plate, whereas when we did the removal, the plate only had inward pressure because we were pushing to pull. If they don't go all the way down, either grab your tap and clean the hole out, or you have to just put the screw back in it and tighten it down to the bottom. This part is fairly vital. Guys, this is important when you go to tighten this. If you buy this tool and you haven't done this before, or if you buy this tool and you're doing it for the first time, there is a shoulder. Now, let's watch how I do this. There's tension, there's pressure on this. So I know that I'm installing my bearing. My bearing is going in. It's continuing to go in. That's it, right there. I hit the shoulder. Now, I can keep going, I promise. I could keep turning, but I'll break the case, and I'll show you what'll happen. Now, I'm just going to verify that that's bottom. So I backed it off, tighten, backed it off, tighten, tighten. You want to just make sure you're to the bottom. Isn't that what she said? And that's a learned feel thing as far as how that's actually seated in there. This is the shoulder that I was talking about. The shoulder on the tool here, and it makes contact with the shoulder on the case. And it sets that bearing to the proper depth. Well, you can continue pushing this tool, and you can potentially either shove the bearing too far through, or you can crack the case or mar this whole edge up. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Be very careful. Hey, if you've made it this far, and you're here with me right now, congratulations, because you did the hard part already.
Alright guys, I'm going to have to jump in here on the editing side of things. Because this video is so thorough, it's taking a little bit longer than I originally anticipated. So we're going to go ahead and pull the plug. I hope you've enjoyed the video for today. Next week's video, we'll finish this up, and we'll pick up right where we left off. I ask you guys to stick around and join us for our ride over to Leesburg Bikefest. Little history on that. Leesburg started in '97, drawing a crowd of only 5,000 bikers. It's grown since then and has actually become one of the nation's largest rallies. Melissa loves this little rally as it's always had a great crowd, has great vendors, and awesome music. We met up with some old friends and made some new ones. And one of them happened to be a famous YouTuber. You guys might know him as the infamous Professional Monkey. We had an absolute blast hanging out with them and their crew, and look forward to many, many, many future shenanigans. Check out his channel and learn a few things. As always, wherever you be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay upside and we'll see you on the flip.
Are you guys ready for our second giveaway? Yeah, woo! I can't believe we're already able to give something else away. This one is really exciting. What is the best way, the easiest way you can upgrade your bike to make it more comfortable and to make it look way cooler than stock? And that's a Saddlemen seat. I have Saddlemen on mine, both of mine. Chris has one on his, and we both love it. I like the gel cork technology because it can decrease the engine vibration by up to 50% and the road disturbances by over 90%. So it makes it a lot more comfortable. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is comment Saddlemen on this video and let us know why you want one. Keep in mind, you don't have to have just a Harley. You can get a Saddlemen seat for any bike that they make a seat for. So make sure that your bike has a seat that Saddlemen makes. We will pick a random winner. It does have to be in the lower 48 U.S. states. Sorry about that. And we'll pick a winner in 2 weeks' time, and we'll let you know. Good luck. Go follow Saddlemen on their Instagram. Check out their website.